Easy. I can do this streaming rubbish. PewDiePie has nothing on me. Hi. Good morning. 11. This is my office. I am speaking to you from the past. I'm recording this on Sunday night. Hopefully it will be a decent enough quality to get to you by Monday morning. I've been asked to give this assembly, and I was asked to give this specifically to answer some questions you've been having to do with supporting friends with mental health issues. You can't tell how someone feels by just looking at them, and now that we're all forced to wear masks instead of our lovely shining faces, that becomes even more difficult. COVID has been really difficult for us to deal with. We're back at school. We've got all the pressures that have been going along with that, but social distancing means that we don't have necessarily the leisure activities that we would to decompress, to relax, to spend time with our friends. Instead, we're stuck using digital devices, and this can leave us feeling isolated, particularly from our friends. Now, this is a fantastic school. After all, I work here. But the main reason I know this is an amazing school is because I see how you guys treat each other. Lots of people have been asking, how can I help a friend that's struggling? And I think that is amazing. That's awesome. The very fact that someone will know they're in a school where people ask these questions, I think that itself will make people feel better. But we can get a bit more practical. Goggles on, everyone. There are two major types of feelings. There's your everyday feelings and your overwhelming feelings. All right, now I'm having an overwhelming feeling of joy because I love a Venn diagram. Now, each category is healthy, each category is normal. The problem is when the overwhelming feelings start happening every day, where we have that overlapping section. This is particularly worrying if it is something that happens several times throughout a day. So the first thing you've got to think about, the first thing you've got to be realistic about is your friend struggling all the time? Or is it just a one-off thing? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to diminish the struggles that we have in a day, but we get overwhelmed by lots of things, and that's normal and that's healthy. I get overwhelmed every time I look in the mirror. Look at me. In full HD. We don't need to suggest to our friend that they have a mental health problem if they've left all their homework to the last minute, or they missed the bus, or they have a biology response to disease online proof of revision task that they hadn't completed. These situations, they still require your sympathy, they still require your presence, but that is a different category to if your friend is going through more than that. What do we do if they're occupying that central part of the Venn diagram, if they are having these overwhelming feelings every day? So I've racked my brains, I've done some research, I've looked around, and I think I've got 7 major pieces of advice that I can give you that get progressively more. So I've racked my brains, taken some advice, talked to people, and I think I've got 7 different pieces of advice, one for each day of the week, that you can use if you want to help a friend that has a mental health issue. The first one I think is most important, and it's stuff that I see so regularly throughout my stalking of the year. 11. Bubble. And that's just making yourself available. If you think that a friend is struggling, perhaps try sharing some of your own genuine struggles. Now, they do need to be genuine in order for this to have any impact at all. We're not talking about, I'm really struggling with my KD ratio on Call of Fortnite. We're not looking at that. It's, what are you struggling with? Let these people know they're not alone. Other people are also struggling. It's so difficult with InstaChat and Snapgram. we see this perfect view of everybody. And sometimes people just need to know that other people are struggling. Another concrete piece of advice is to avoid asking people, "How are you?" It's a very British way of greeting. "How are you?" "Oh, I'm okay." We very rarely are okay. We're British. We don't like talking to other people. I certainly don't like talking to other people. So why don't you try and ask them something a little bit more specific? How was that homework yesterday? Did you watch that game where Liverpool got absolutely demolished 7-2 by a team that barely managed to stay up in the league last season? I did. This allows them to partake in general conversation. It doesn't isolate them from the conversation, but it also doesn't put pressure on them to think up, "Oh, yeah, I'm good, I'm fantastic, I'm feeling great," when they don't feel that way. Now, number 3 may seem to run against the grain of number 1 and 2, and that is give your friends space. Sometimes, once we know that you're there, once your friend knows that you are available, they just need to be left alone. Sometimes you need to have that space to work through, and don't be offended by this. This isn't personal, this isn't about you, and you shouldn't try and make it about you. If they are needing some space, give them space. Number 4, do not try and diagnose. If your friend has felt ready to open up to you, the last thing they need is for you digging through their life trying to find either a cause or trying to say, "Yeah, you've definitely got depression." Neither of those are helpful. Sometimes depression can't be explained. Sometimes the person cannot say why they feel anxiety in a given situation. These are just things they're living with, and they don't want to have you try and fix their life. Number 5, exercise. There are things you can encourage your friends to do that are really helpful, really healthy for both parties. Exercise is one of those things. Exercise releases endorphins. These are feel-good chemicals that make you feel better. That's why they're called feel-good chemicals. And this will help the person perhaps open up to you whilst you're on a run, on a walk, on a bike ride. Plus, in the COVID era, they're still social distanced. We can still show that we are there for a friend, show that there is a social avenue available without putting ourselves at risk of something else. Now, if you're not a particularly outdoorsy person, and you know what? It's October. It's starting to feel not particularly outdoorsy. Mankind has spent its entire existence perfecting indoors, after all. Why don't you recommend they do other things just to take a break from the overwhelming situation around them? These can be things like art, music, writing, keeping a journal. There's lots of things you can suggest. Perhaps you can get involved yourself. Perhaps you can take an online art class together. Just something where there's less pressure to do well. It's simply a release and a break from what they're doing. You can even watch a film in separate houses, critiquing it over WhatsApp. Number 7 is perhaps the most important piece of advice, and possibly the hardest one for you to take on board. You must realise, ladies and gentlemen, that you are not a mental health professional. I get it. You want to help. You want to make your friends feel better, and that reflects really fantastically on you. It reflects really fantastically on the school and the community that we've built. But A, you don't have the expertise, and 2, your mental health may be affected by trying to act as a counsellor. My wife is retraining as a drama therapist, and she, as part of her training, must have weekly counselling sessions. She must receive therapy in order to be healthy enough to provide therapy. Counselling is a massive responsibility, and it is best left to the professionals. A quick Google search is no substitute for talking to someone who has got the proper training and who knows what they are doing. Sometimes the best thing you can do, ladies and gentlemen, is to encourage your friend to speak to an adult that they trust, that can be a parent, that can be a teacher, that can be a head of year, or going on to speak to a mental health professional. And there's loads of options available. There's loads of places that you can go that are out there. You can speak on Childline. You can speak to the Samaritans completely confidentially. You can speak to Don't Lose Hope right here in Bourne. And your friend may want you to go with them to that first session. You can provide that support and you can ask how it went, and you can just sit there afterwards or before, just having an ice cream or having a beverage. I don't know what you young people drink. Do you still drink tea? So there are 7 pieces of advice that I would like you to take on board. I hope that's helped, particularly for the people who are asking these questions. It's really great that you are asking these questions, because we're starting to see a change in our attitude to mental health in this school. Because after all, talking about mental health doesn't need to be difficult. We all have it. We all have our ups and downs. That's me finished. I've now got to edit this whole thing and make sure it's ready to go for you in the morning. And hopefully I've managed to keep it before the bell. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Look after each other, and I'll see you all soon.